Take one. And action. Crazy, but it's super simple. Hi there, and welcome to A Little Bit Healthier. I'm Liz Moody, and I'm the food director here at mindbodygreen. And today I'm going to teach you how to make vegan loaded sweet potato nachos, which sounds like a mouthful, and I guess it is technically a mouthful of ooey-gooey cheesy deliciousness, but it's actually really, really easy to make. So we're going to start off with our sweet potatoes. I love using sweet potatoes as a base for nachos instead of something more traditional like chips because they have tons of vitamin A and vitamin C, which makes your skin glow and everybody give you lots of compliments. And then they're also filled with fiber, which is going to keep your blood sugar really, really stable even as you're eating this comforting, kind of decadent food. I'm going to mandolin these because I'm very fancy. But if you don't have a mandolin at home, that is completely fine. All you have to do is chop them into 1/4-inch slices, just do your best, like go as thin as you possibly can, and you'll be good. But we're gonna try the mandolin here. It's a kitchen tool I highly recommend. It costs like 12 to 15 bucks on Amazon. They're really inexpensive, and they make doing things like this very, very easy. So I'm just gonna set this to 1/4 inch thick. And the one thing is you want to be very, very careful of your fingers. Wear your glove, or sometimes they come with a little top thingy. I'm just going to be careful. The nice thing about the mandolin is it gives you really uniform slices. And again, that's going to give you even browning. You don't want some of your pieces of sweet potato to burn and get black and then other ones to still be really soft and mushy. So that's really the ultimate goal, however you're going to get there. All right. When you have all your sweet potato rounds, you can use as many as you'd like, depending on how many people are going to eat your nachos. It could be like a cozy night in for 2 or a great party snack. I like to do about 2 to 3, which I think serves about 4 people. You're going to just pile them up on a parchment-lined paper. You could do this in a bowl too, but who wants to do extra dishes when they don't have to, am I right? So I'm just going to put this on here, and then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of avocado oil on it. I love to use avocado oil in this recipe because it's liquid at room temperature, unlike coconut oil, so you can drizzle it really nicely, and it's also very safe for high heat. It has a very high smoke point, so it won't turn carcinogenic even in the oven at the 425 temperature we're going to be roasting them at. And then we're going to add some sea salt. If you see chefs do this, it's not just to look cool, it's so that the sea salt distributes really evenly over. The higher up you go, the more even of a distribution of the sea salt you get. And then we're going to add a little bit of chipotle, which adds a really nice smoky umami flavor to the sweet potato chips, and it'll add to that like kind of barbecued nacho-y vibe. And then we're just gonna get in there with our hands and get everything all covered up. If you don't like to get dirty, you can maybe use a fork or a spoon for this, but honestly, like we're in the kitchen, we're having fun. It's fun to get a little messy. So we're just gonna toss this, kind of rubbing the oil and the spices onto the sweet potatoes until they're all evenly coated. They're looking pretty good to me. And then, this is a very important part of the recipe. We're gonna evenly space out the sweet potatoes on the pan. So if you always make sweet potato fries or sweet potato chips and you're like, why don't they get crispy? The reason is probably that you're crowding your pan. When you crowd your pan, you get a lot of moisture from each sweet potato and the moisture touches each other. So the sweet potatoes will steam instead of roast. You want that moisture to have enough room to evaporate out, which is what gives you your brown and crispy edges and makes this a really chip-like recipe. If you need to use 2 pans, do not be afraid to do that. It's better to use 2 pans than to crowd your sweet potatoes. And then we are just going to pop these into the oven at 425 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to wash my hands, and then we will be right back. I promised you loaded vegan sweet potato nachos, so this is where the loaded comes in. While your sweet potatoes are in the oven cooking, we're gonna make one of my all-time favorite snacks, which is a coconut bacon. Honestly, I make this and I'll just like eat it as a savory type granola all the time. I love it. It's so good and it's so easy to make. So to make it, you just put about a cup of flaked coconut, and you want this to be unsweetened and untoasted, so just flaked coconut, that's it. We're gonna put that on a parchment-lined pan. Again, you can do this in a bowl, but why dirty it? And then we're gonna add a little bit of maple syrup, and that'll give us a subtle sweetness. A little bit of tamari, which has a little bit more of an umami flavor than soy sauce. You can use soy sauce, but soy sauce is a little saltier and it has less of a complex, rich flavor. And then some smoked paprika, which gives us that smoky bacon vibe. But we also have our secret ingredient for that smoky bacon vibe, which is a little bit of liquid smoke. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but you can find it at most grocery stores, and it really gives you that I'm bacon, you can't believe it's not bacon vibe. Finally, we're just gonna add a touch of black pepper, and we're gonna mix it all together with our hands. You can use a spoon. I'm gonna use my hands. I like to use my hands for everything. You are gonna be shocked when you try this. Honestly, everybody I've given it to, it's their new favorite addiction. You can put it on soups, you can put it on baked potatoes, you can kind of use it anywhere that you would normally use bacon. Or you could just eat it plain, which is what I often end up doing myself. So you can see that it's pretty evenly coated. You really want to kind of smush it in there so you get all the liquid from the bottom, but all of the coconut flakes have turned a pretty nice shade of brown. We've got our black pepper kind of sprinkling throughout, and then we're just going to spread this out on the pan as evenly as possible so it's not touching each other. Again, that's going to give us our crispy edges. It's going to help get that Maillard reaction instead of the coconuts just steaming. When the sweet potatoes are done cooking, you're going to turn the oven down to 325 degrees, and we're just going to pop this in here until they get golden brown and crispy. And while that happens, we're going to prep the rest of our toppings. We took our sweet potatoes out of the oven, and they look glorious. They were not this close together in the oven. We've taken 2 pans and kind of consolidated them to make a hefty, beautiful nacho pile. So that's going to serve as our base. We have a few different toppings here. We have a can of black beans that we've rinsed and drained. We have some frozen corn kernels that are thawed. So you can use fresh corn for this, but frozen corn, super easy. We like to use organic. And then we have some Daiya cutting board cheddar style shreds. I love using Daiya in my vegan recipes because it pulls apart and melts just like dairy cheese, but it's vegan, which is amazing. So we're just gonna do a sprinkle of our cutting board shreds on our nachos. I don't know about you guys, but I'm an all cheese person, so I like to do cheese below and then some of my toppings and then cheese above so there can be cheese everywhere. And then we're gonna do some of our corn. Sprinkle that on. Our black beans. Black beans are great too because they have some extra protein. So this is really quite, it looks like a snack, but it's secretly a really filling, healthy meal, which everybody is on board with. And then we're gonna top that off again with some of our Daiya cheddar style cutting board shreds. Because all of that cheesy goodness, oh yeah. Do you guys like more cheese? More cheese is better, right? Like, have you ever had something and been like, there's too much cheese on this? I think not. So just gonna pop this into the oven on broil until the cheese gets all melty and bubbly, and then we'll top it with our coconut bacon and a few other toppings, but you'll have to stay tuned for that. So these go into the oven now. We got everything out of the oven. We got our glorious, glorious nachos with their melty, gooey Daiya cutting board shreds. Looks delightful, and it smells so good. You would not even believe. And then we have our coconut bacon, which has gotten really dry and crispy. Delightful. So all we're gonna do is top our nachos with some green onions, which adds a little pop of freshness, some digestive enzymes, and then whatever salsa you like. I like to go real spicy, so do it to your preference, but I'm a California girl, so spicier is better for me. And finally, we got our coconut bacon. Just crumble this right on. It's kind of like a bacon bit vibe, but it'll make every bite just scream with that rich, delicious flavor. It's gonna feel so decadent. Oh my God. All right, and there you have it. Our beautiful finished loaded sweet potato nachos. They're all vegan, filled with protein, fiber, tons of vitamins and minerals. You'll feel good after eating these, but more importantly, you'll really enjoy eating them because they taste really, really good. Should we dive on in? It is so good. It has such a great mixture of flavors. You have the fresh and zesty green onions, you have the spicy salsa, the sweet potatoes. I love the Daiya cutting board shreds. It's so melty and gooey and bubbly and delicious. You have the vegan coconut bacon topping it all off with that umami crunch. It's addictive. I want to share it with all my friends so they'll compliment me, but I also kind of want to eat it all myself. So you make your own choices and enjoy the recipe. We'll leave the link to the recipe in the box below, and thanks so much for watching A Little Bit Healthier.